What up, everyone? It's 3 a.m. on Friday the 13th. So I figured I would take this opportunity to tell another paranormal tale leading up to my going spelunking in Moon Point Cemetery tonight. This is a collection of stories of about Satan's house, the operating center point of the Locust Street Diablos, my scooter gang. But anyway, it's this house on Locust Street. It's a yellow house, and lots of weird shit went down there when I was living there. And so I'm gonna regale you with the tales of horror and mystery and intrigue that I went through there. When I first moved in there, we had this mirror. It was on the wall next to the door, and it was just me living there at the time. I had a roommate, but she was never home. She stayed with her boyfriend out of town 28 days out of the month. So it was quite weird to me when every now and then I would look into the mirror and see a child's handprint on the mirror, considering there were no kids there at the time, and my hands are significantly larger than a child's, even though I have tiny jumbo shrimp fingers. But so that was like the first kind of like red flag. I was like, this is kind of fucked up. No matter how many times I cleaned that mirror off, they would always come back. So that left me with a feeling of unease. Speaking of feelings of unease, whenever you would just sit around in that house, you would feel like somebody was looking at you. I mean, I don't blame people for looking at my handsome visage here, but it's kind of weird when you're the only one in the house and you're like, yeah, I definitely feel like somebody else is here all the fucking time. And I'd wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh man, I just feel like someone's fucking staring at me. And I'd look around in the dark and I wouldn't see anything, I wouldn't hear anything, but I would feel something there. And yeah, I was already kind of paranoid because this is the second house I lived in right after the haunted ass house on Madison Street. But I digress. So after a while, I got a roommate. And after that, shit even started to get even more hectic. It was like whatever was in that house was like, I don't really like this. I don't like you having extra people here. Knock it the fuck off. So whenever we would bring home groceries, we'd put them away. And the doors of the cabinets would be open. And the fucking drawers would open up on their own. Like, we'd leave the room and come back and everything would be popped open. And some of that, like, we found that the house was kind of on a slant, so that explained the cabinets. But the fucking drawers randomly opening, and only after we'd be in there together and we would leave, and then I'd come back and they'd be, and so that was kind of fucked up too. That was when, but like my roommate was super into it, so it was fine. She had a daughter, and her daughter would constantly be playing with kids that weren't there. So, and like years later, her daughter is normal. So it was definitely a product of the house and the time. So yeah, that was pretty scary. But the tipping point was one day I was alone with a lady in my room, and we got up and came out, and I was getting ready to take her home, and we heard like a child talking and playing in my roommate's daughter's room, but they weren't there. They were definitely gone, and even she commented on it. She was like, I thought your roommate was gone. Why is her daughter here? So I went to the room and nothing. No one was in there. Yeah, that was fucking terrifying. But the weird thing was stuff that wasn't even paranormal. It was shit that we just like discovered about the house. We found a whole bunch of like Ouija boards and stuff like that in a closet. I was like, what the fuck? Because my other roommate, who was always gone, she had a head injury, and I think she went crazy. She had like this Ouija boards and like not even just one, like fucking 10 of these motherfuckers. And then one time we had a plumbing problem, so I called my dad over and we went under the house to fix the plumbing. And he found 13 dead cats down there. Like somebody had been sacrificing cats and shit. So yeah, that was a very evil, fucked up feeling house. It's over on Locust Street and people still live there. And I bet they're just as freaked out as I was. But yeah, that's my second paranormal story. I may have one if I don't get arrested at Moon Point. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.